While everyone's busy talking about the far off sci fi future of AI, there's a much more important shift happening for businesses right now. We're finally moving past the hype and into the real world with the practical arrival of agentic AI. And trust me, it's about to completely redefine the way we work.
So let me just ask you this. What if you had a whole team of specialized AI assistants working for you 24/7? I'm not talking about just answering questions. I mean actually getting things done. Well, that's the world we are stepping into right now.
So, what exactly is agentic AI? The big thing to remember is this: it's not just another chatbot. This is AI where you give it a goal and it figures out the plan and then takes the actions across different apps to make it happen. All with you in the driver's seat, of course. It's a doer, not just a talker. And look, this idea is already shaping the entire industry. As Google's CEO Sundar Pichai says, agents combine that AI brainpower with actual tools so they can act for you. And this is the most important part, it's all under your control. That's the bedrock principle here.
Okay, so this leads us right into our first major shift, how these AI agents are going to completely transform your role at work. The main idea here is a move from you being the doer of every little task to you becoming the orchestrator of a team of agents. What you're seeing here really breaks down a massive change in how we work with computers. For decades, we've been stuck in instruction-based computing, where we had to tell the machine exactly how to do something, step by painful step. Now, we're shifting to intent-based computing, where we just state the what, the outcome we want, and the system figures out the how. So what does your job actually look like in this new world? Well, you become a human supervisor. Your real value isn't in grinding out repetitive work anymore. It's in the high-level thinking, delegating those mundane tasks, setting really clear goals for your agent team, and guiding the overall strategy. The skills that matter most become strategic planning and, of course, being that final checkpoint for quality.
Okay, I know this might still feel a little bit abstract, so let's make it real. Let's take a look at what we'll call the 10x marketing manager, someone who can multiply their output by effectively managing a team of AI agents. So instead of trying to do everything themselves, this manager is orchestrating 5 specialized agents. You've got one sifting through endless market data, another watching competitors around the clock. You have a content agent drafting copy, a creative agent generating visuals, and a reporting agent analyzing all the campaign results. Suddenly, the manager's job shifts from busy work to pure strategy.
And believe me, this isn't just the theory. At the telecom giant TELUS, teams are already saving an average of 40 minutes per AI interaction. I mean, think about that. That's a massive productivity gain that frees people up for much more valuable work.
Now, a really common concern is that these agents will just run wild. But as this quote from Google's Albert Lai makes clear, that's just not the case. It's a misconception. Humans are the orchestrators. The agents are incredibly powerful assistants, but you are always the final decision maker. So we've seen how this changes things for an individual. Now, let's zoom out a bit. The next major shift is about scaling this whole concept up, from just single tasks to automating entire business workflows from end to end. This is where we get the idea of an agentic system. The best way to think about it is like a digital assembly line. It's a workflow where you have multiple specialized agents, all orchestrated to run a whole business process, like customer support or procurement, from start to finish. And just to be clear, we are way past the experimental phase here. Get this. 88% of early adopters of agentic AI are already seeing a positive return on their investment. This technology is delivering real business value today. Let's just look at customer service for a perfect example of the difference. The old way is that frustrating chatbot, right? Please enter your 12-digit order number for the 3rd time. The new way is an agentic concierge that knows who you are, it knows your purchase history, and it already anticipates why you're calling. It is a massive leap forward in customer experience. So how does this actually work in practice? Let's take a classic customer service nightmare, a failed delivery. In the old world, the company just waits for an angry customer to call them. But an agentic concierge, it's proactive. It doesn't wait. Okay, so just look at what happens here. The moment the system flags a problem, the agent gets to work. It checks the back-end systems to confirm why, it taps into the logistics system to reschedule, it goes into the billing system to apply a service credit, and then it notifies the customer. All of this happens on its own in seconds.
And this is the message the customer gets. The problem is already being solved before they even knew it was a problem. The company has just turned a potential negative experience into a huge positive one, building trust and loyalty. That's the power of these proactive agentic systems. Now, let's pivot to an area that's critical for every single business: security. The third major shift is how these agents are moving cybersecurity from a constant state of putting out fires to a model of proactive defense.
The huge problem in security today is something called alert fatigue. Analysts are just drowning in data, and a staggering 82% of them are worried they're missing real threats in all that noise. And of course, that's where attackers find their opening. Well, agentic AI completely flips this script. By automating all that reactive work of chasing down alerts, it elevates the human analyst. Their job becomes way more strategic, guiding agents on threat hunts, supervising their performance, and actually architecting better long-term defenses instead of just fighting fires all day. We've talked about individual roles, we've talked about business workflows, and we've talked about security. But honestly, none of this works without the most critical element of all: people. And that brings us right back to you and your team. The real key to unlocking all this value is going to be upskilling your talent. And the urgency here is real. The half-life of a professional skill, that's the time it takes for it to be half as valuable, is now just 4 years. And in a field like tech, it can be as short as 2. Continuous learning isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. It's an absolute necessity for survival. And look, the data on this slide is crystal clear. Employees want this training. Leaders know it's what keeps them competitive. And the organizations that actually invest in it see a direct impact on their revenue. The consensus is powerful. Upskilling is the #1 imperative. So the most crucial point is this: this revolution is fundamentally human. It isn't just about buying new technology. It's about building an AI-ready workforce. It's about freeing up your people for the creative, strategic, and empathetic work that only humans can do. This AI revolution, it's really all about talent. So the only question left is, are you ready?